Is there a specific point like early in your career that was like a pivotal moment that maybe changed the trajectory based on like building leverage, whether that was like people, capital, media?
Early on, not really. I think that the most valuable thing for me was to get around people who are making more money than me. And that hasn't really changed. I've always tried to get around people who make more money than me just to see what they're thinking with, what opportunities are they pursuing, what things do they say no to. And I think that's been probably the most valuable thing that I've done in terms of changing my thinking and like what frameworks I use.
And what were some of the patterns that you feel like you picked up from them?
Just the games they were playing. You know what I mean? Like I learned about the private equity game. I was like, oh, wow. Like the largest percentage of billionaires come from private equity. Weird. Okay. Noted. On the flip side, real estate has made more millionaires than anyone. But real estate is a far more efficient marketplace overall. And so you don't have like 100Xs, not really, in real estate, but you can do that absolutely, in the business space in a much shorter period of time. But it's definitely a higher risk, higher reward. Like the building's still there. There's still a roof. People might still rent it. But like a business can go to zero. Buildings don't really go to zero.
Yeah. And what was that epiphany that you had around the private equity space? Like, why is it that so many billionaires from that?
I think it's just more observation. So it's more like, okay, is there something that's weird here? Okay, well, let's learn about that. If this is the highest concentration of mega wealthy people, then there's probably some sort of arbitrage to this game. And there's multiple levels of arbitrage within private equity. And when you combine them together, that's when you can create these 100X outcomes. It's like, well, you can buy things for significantly less than they're worth, far more so at a discount than like real estate, for example. And then you can still lever using debt from, third-party financing. And then on top of that, you can have even more leverage by raising money to do it. So it's like somebody who has $1 million can put $1 million in, raise 100 or raise 99 to get to $100 million, and then buy, 5 businesses that are $100 million each because they put $20 million down, and then they, okay, let's be realistic. Let's say they buy 3, just for argument's sake, they put a third down on each of them. So $300 million businesses, and they get bank debt for the other, 70 on each of those businesses. It's like, so one guy with $1 million just bought 3 businesses in total for $300 million. And if those businesses just grow at like, let's say a 20% rate over the next, 5 years, those businesses go from $100 million businesses to $200 million businesses. So he goes from, whatever it was, 300 to 600. Right. But he probably also bought those at a discount. So maybe they inherently were worth more than that. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, now we're at 900 million. And so then he just, he has his hurdle rate to his, his partners. He has to pay his debt back. And then after that, you just have this massive nut left over. You can take that 100 or 200 million left over for the managing partner and then just play the game again. And there's very few ways that you can do something like that within a 5 to 7 year span than anything else with so little capital. Now, people are going to only trust, somebody who might have a level of experience or saying, okay, well, I worked at a private equity fund for 10 years. I did 2 funds and I feel pretty confident I can do it. It's like, okay, well, then you can do it when you're 35 because you start when you're 20 and you get 15 years in or whatever, 2 7-year funds and you start your own. And so, yeah, like I see those types of games and I'm like, that makes sense. Like where's the huge lever opportunities that exist? Like software is obviously a big one. Like how many things can you go from 0 to $1 billion valuation in 3 years? Like you can't do that with a chain of dry cleaning stores. This is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, okay, well, what are the nature of those things? Well, most products that have 0 cost of replication tend to have more leverage. So like media as an example, or software stuff as an example, even licensing stuff. All of those are 0 cost to replicate. And so they're just more leverage baked into the business model. And you work just as hard to build the restaurant or the dry cleaning business as you do to build the software company. You just need different knowledge. And so I think finding people who have expertise in those things helps you move faster.